We are good. We didn't break this time. This is, I think, our easiest episode start ever. Hello everyone. Welcome to another wonderful week of all things good and nerdy. Once again, I'm Adahy, and I'm tired, and I've played too much Diablo. That's all I have to say.
No such thing.
That's all I have to say. We'll move on to Chris. Any opening statements, Chris?
I'm back again. I'm sorry.
It's our daily dose of bald.
Something has to be.
Naki, do you have anything for us today?
I do. So I've been gone, and I'm sorry. I actually started writing for a web series that debuts tomorrow. So check out Kryptonian Spade on YouTube, and she is debuting Double XP tomorrow, and then next week is the premiere of NFT, which you'll find out what that stands for in the actual web series, but that premieres next Monday, and that will be what I've been writing. I also have a book starting called The Alternates, which you can read on my blog at OneNerdyCupcake@wordpress.com. That's my intro today. Yay!
Thank you.
I can actually say I'm doing something.
It's like, that's new. Thanks. And our guest host this week is... Okay, he's still here. Like, someone left. Is Andrew. You have any opening statements, Andrew?
I have nothing to declare, sir, other than you guys should follow me at Twitter at KAPELLUSCH. Shameless self-promotion.
We're all about shameless self-promotion.
Yeah, the Stan Lees of the internet set.
Stan Lees.
He does shamelessly self-promote all the time. It's hilarious.
I don't know.
Well, that's what you got to do in this day and age.
It's true. It's a society of extroverts, rather. So.
Yeah. I'm trying to break myself into using Twitter, but I hate that crap. Honestly, I really do. And she's back, I think.
It has its uses. I use it more than I do like Google Plus. Of course, all I really use Google Plus for is this.
I never stop twittering, just never, just constantly. So it's pretty good. It's cool though. It's nice to be able to talk to your favorite creators and you know, famous people and just people you're just hanging out with. So it's nice, and I run tons of contests on there because what I'll do is I'll ask for requests and then I'll draw superheroes for people just for free. So
I can vouch for that. I've gotten a couple drawn.
Me too. I have two.
I have my own custom hero. If you actually look at the overlay, it's like right there. Today, I'm just throwing that out there. I have an artist that does a lot of stuff for me. Her name's Z, and she drew me as a superhero. It was awesome.
I talked to her in the chat one of the times that I was stalking the chat because I wasn't here.
Yeah. I guess we'll get right into things. Start talking about something. I think the biggest piece of news right now is honestly Diablo 3 and its amazing amount of sales. I mean, I think it broke the Amazon's pre-order sale record.
It did.
Keep in mind that record was set by StarCraft 2.
And before that, World of Warcraft. So they kind of beat themselves up.
Yeah. But has anyone besides me actually got a chance to play it? I'm doubtful. I know you two have bad computers.
No.
And Andy says he's busy.
Never have any time.
Yeah.
See, y'all make fun of me because my laptop is like 10 years old, and I'm pretty lucky that I'm even on this right now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm pretty positive. I thought about it one time, and my laptop started smoking. So, this should be a poor choice, I think. I can't even Minecraft on here. Which, anyways. Minecraft addiction. It's bad.
I was doing some research in preparation because why not? And actually by research I mean that I was Wikipediaing things about 10 minutes before I got on here. But I was reading about Diablo 3, and I was a huge fan of Diablo 1. I absolutely loved that game. It was so simple and just pure, just sort of dungeon crawl. I had just discovered D&D about a year and a half before I started playing it. So like I was like, this is amazing because there's like 3 classes, you can go and dungeon delve, and then Diablo 2 came out pretty quickly after that because I was a late bloomer, as usual. And what I absolutely hated about Diablo 2 was it was so much more complicated. Just so much more, just like, I mean, there were tons of more character classes, and like, I ended up just like, basically my buddy had the expansion pack, and I just played the druid the entire time. But like, you know, like, I've been looking at Diablo 3, and I mean, it just seems like it's so overly complicated, like, so far away from its Diablo 1 roots. Is that true? Is that your impression of it, or?
It is and isn't. It's not quite as complicated as Diablo 2 in the fact that you don't have to try to allocate these stat points. They actually do that for you now.
That's good.
Because that was one of the parts that a lot of people could not figure out how to do well in Diablo 2, because like you get 5 stat points and you have 4 places to put them. Where the hell are you supposed to put them? And a lot of us, like myself, who played it way too freaking much, you know, we figured it out over time. But for someone getting into it, that was really freaking hard. I understand exactly what you're saying. It's like, whoa, I don't know what to do with all this crap, and all the skills, and then you get like 99 skill points.
Well, there was like a run meter, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Because I would like, you know,
they got
starting
rid of
out
that shit. Thank God.
Barbarian. I was like, run meter? Why? So yeah, it was just, I don't know. It was crazy.
Now,
I don't know. And I was looking at a couple of the classes. What have you played so far?
Mostly Witch Doctor. I have a Witch Doctor I'm about halfway through Nightmare difficulty on, and Witch Doctor is so much fun. Oh my God, lobbing flaming skulls at things.
When I first saw it, I was really concerned though because it looks super racist. Like just throwing it out there. No, it does, because like it's like deep in the forest. There's these noble savages that, you know, and it's just like you can't say that, man. This is like the 2010s, dude. But no, like I don't know. I was looking at it. It looks like a fun class because it's sort of like a necro druid sort of weird class. But I was like, you can't say witch doctor.
Yeah, witch doctor is a valid term. I mean, witch doctor still exists.
Yeah, oh no, I'm not trying to say that it doesn't. I'm just saying that, like, I don't know. Maybe they could have thought of something different to call it, necro druid or something, or I don't know.
The only thing I know really about classes wise is they look complicated because there's these skills and then there's the runes. But a lot of times the runes just let you tweak the skills for certain events or bosses and whatnot. It's simply complicated, basically, if that makes any sense. It seems complicated to look at it, but once you start playing with it, it's really simple. And it's not nearly as complex as D2, but there's more there than there was in D2 because of the rune system. I've also got to play a little bit of the Barbarian, which is still basically the same Barbarian as been in D2. It's run up and smash things.
Big tank.
Basically. Except now you can have a female Barbarian, which is really weird. Because there's a male and female version of every class this time around.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, but still it's really weird to me because I was so used to D2 and all the barbarians are this big hulking idiot dude. So it's the wizard is OP. The wizard is really OP and will probably be nerfed in a patch.
Okay, so please explain what OP and nerf mean.
OP is overpowered, and nerf means that they will reduce its abilities in some way, shape, or form.
And probably too much the first time.
Yeah. The reason that I'm calling out the wizard as being OP is so far it's been the only class that's been able to beat Inferno Diablo. Like the hardest mode of Diablo, and that's because it makes itself immune to damage and runs away the entire time. It's like, I can't take damage, and that thing's going to kill you while I run away from you. It's like Necromancer times 30, except it's just one thing that it summons. It's like a Hydra that does a butt ton of damage. It's like, yeah, I have summons, and I can run away on my Witch Doctor, but my summons do shit for damage. It's like 30 damage a hit on a zombie dog. Yeah, that's going to kill Diablo with his like 30 million HP in 20 hours, 30 hours. So,
Well,
yeah.
did you see that there were some Korean folks who went and did a speed run the day it came out? I guess like day one they did a 10-hour speed run and beat it in nightmare mode. I guess.
Yeah, they're Korean. You can't. Yeah.
I was like, but this isn't StarCraft.
Hey, be nice to us Asian folk, yo.
Hey, you know.
Hey, they made StarCraft like a national sport in Korea. It's awesome. It's on TV and everything.
The tradition changed. You can't marry a daughter until you beat her father at StarCraft 2.
That means you're screwed.
Yeah, basically.
Well, I never planned on getting married anyways. So.
Man, it's like they're so good at that game. It's ridiculous. But yeah, Diablo's fun. If you have a computer that can play it, you should play it. If you don't have a computer that should play it, you should buy a new computer and play it.
Yeah,
that was subtle.
I'm on that.
I'm just gonna go put some shovels of money into a wheelbarrow and walk right into Best Buy. Thanks, Chief.
Problem one, Best Buy. Expensive place.
Oh, why Best Buy? Why Best Buy?
I don't know. I worked for him actually once. It was awful. Well, it was okay.
I was gonna say,
I had an awful boss.
Did you want to kill yourself?
No, it was like, the thing about it was like, let's pretend like we're working on commission, but you don't actually get commission sales. So it was. That's real
good.
I was the top salesman in my region. Not to brag too much. I was the top salesman in my region, and I was still getting my boss like pulling me aside, and he's like, "You're not selling the right amount of cameras. They're not high enough margins." And I was like, "Come on, man! I'm selling more cameras than everyone else. Who cares what percentage of margin profit you guys get?" So, and they have like little anagrams for everything. It was nuts. Stay away from big box stores. Go to Newegg or something. So.
Or a lot of times there's like small computer stores in your area. If you have one of those, they're usually really, really nice, and really knowledgeable.
Tiger Direct is right by me.
Dog. Tiger Direct's not a small store though. They're freaking. They're a huge conglomerate, but they're cheap.
Yeah, they're awesome.
But they're fantastic, so that's okay.
They run some hella awesome deals.
But I guess.
Can we get sponsorship? Can we get some money for this? Tiger Direct, I will endorse you.
I guess since anyone who's played Diablo, we'll move on.
Well, I've watched you do the live stream on it. That's been fun. When there weren't server issues on their side, have they fixed that yet?
Yeah, it's all pretty much taken care of. I mean,
Error 37. Error 37.
You've heard about that. You have to expect though, when you have the largest pre-ordered game in history, no matter how much you prepare, something's going to go wrong. I mean, and the people who complained about all the things going wrong have obviously never worked with networking and servers before in their life.
The joke we had going with it is, hey, finally the Mass Effect fanboys are pissed off over the end of the game can bitch about something else.
Oh yeah, those are probably the same ones that were on the Diablo forums. This game's too hard. I keep dying.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
You're supposed to die. Don't be stupid.
If you can play Diablo without dying, you're a better man than I.
Well, I mean...
Or you're cheating.
I'm going to say within 1 to 2 months, someone will beat it without dying. It's just because that's what hardcore mode is. You know, you die, your character gets deleted, and you move on. I imagine in 1 to 2 months, someone will actually be able to do it. But that's 1 to 2 months. That's a lot of preparation and learning the game and strategy, and it's going to take time.
Oh yeah.
I guess another topic we can move on to. We'll probably get more into Diablo in another episode. I need to find other people who've played the game to be on the show. It's cool.
If Michelle comes back, she's been playing, I think.
That game's so good. We'll probably move into the announcements on the Avengers Blu-ray. It's been a lot of announcements on that thing, apparently.
That Blu-ray is going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I was looking at that and like all the stuff that they're adding to it, but
you're not getting any of that stuff on the DVDs where they're getting people. Like all those deleted scenes they have on there, you don't get on the DVD.
Who buys DVDs?
No. Shut up.
I buy DVDs because I can convert them to MP4 files and then put them on my iPod.
For those of you who haven't figured it out, I'm quite technologically. Wow.
Use your words.
I'm gonna stop talking.
Technologically impaired.
Well, a lot of
Thank
times
you.
the
Thank you.
the Blu-ray comes with
Technological differences.
DVD anymore too, so.
Well, they've got like 8 deleted scenes on this though that they just
I'm
talked
just
about
poor.
now.
That's
A couple of them are ones I really want to see. Like we've talked about the one before that's rumored about Steve Rogers meeting 80-year-old Peggy, but the other one, there's an alternate opening. It's an interrogation scene. That's all they really tell you. And there's an alternate ending that's also an interrogation scene. And I have no idea what that's going to be, but I want to know what they are because I love this movie.
I went to see it again.
I've seen it 3 times now.
This last day before yesterday, we went to see it. I saw it again. I think. Yeah, when my power supply bricked, we were up by the theater, so like, let's go watch Avengers again. And
that's
at the end of
a
it,
good
people
way to deal with it. It is.
people were after the shawarma scene. They watched it and they were like, all like, man, I wanted something cool after the ending credits. I stayed for that crap. I'm like, you all suck. That was awesome.
Yeah, when I went and saw it yesterday, the theater was maybe like a quarter full. Like everyone got up, like right when the credits started, and I just started laughing. And there's a couple sitting behind me like, what? And I was like, well, there's scenes during the credits and after the credits. Like, oh, and the woman looks at her husband and goes, I told you so. They didn't turn the damn lights on in this theater. And I just started laughing.
I told you so. They didn't turn the damn lights on. That's thinking right there.
I've only seen it the one time. I'm going to go a second time probably early this week when I have a couple of days off from my job. But you know, I really enjoyed the Marvel movies so far leading up to them. You know, Iron Man 1 was very good. You know, Captain America was very good. Thor was very good. The Ed Norton Hulk movie was very, very good. But you know, it's just being a DC guy, just have a huge amount of, you know, it's like I went to go see Iron Man and I was like, this is gonna suck, you know, because it's a comic book movie, you have to go see it. And then I was like, you know, that's actually pretty impressive. Like, I could have done without the metal clinking noises for an hour and a half after he gets the suit, but you know, that's fine. So you know, and so it's been very nice to see the build up kind of come to fruition in the Avengers. And I know that you guys already talked about it, but personally, I'm looking forward to some of the Steve Rogers Man Out of Time stuff, meeting Gale or, you know, an old Bucky. Although they're probably going to bring back him as the Winter Soldier, like he'll be Frozen 2.
That's what they seemed to hint at in the first movie.
Yeah. So I mean, but you know, whatever. I think that bringing Bucky back was a huge mistake. So, but that's just me. That's just my personal opinion. So anyways, you know, and after he was back, I didn't have a problem with him as Cap. I actually thought it was pretty cool, but like, you know, the fact that he carried a gun, I was like, come on, man, really? So, I don't know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the alternate scenes that come out.
Yeah, I'm a Marvel fan, I fully admit that, so it makes me really happy to see them doing so well with their movies. But at the same time, I really want to see DC start to succeed as well, because there's so many good DC properties out there. And I had hope for Green Lantern, and then I watched Green Lantern, and it made me sad inside.
The thing about Green Lantern was, it's like Episode 1, Star Wars Episode 1. The sum of its parts should have added up far greater than the whole of the movie. And there were so many good things about the Green Lantern movie that get overlooked because, oh, you know, Green Lantern sucks or whatever. So like, but it's like, no, like it was, you know, Ryan Reynolds did a serviceable job as Hal. He was actually an amalgamation of Hal, Kyle, and just you know, like a kind of a guy sort of mindset at the beginning of the film. You know, so I mean, you know, John's sort of like you know, diggity and getting down to business wasn't represented, but he was an amalgamation of, you know, basically all of the Green Lanterns, you know, that had come out so far, and I think that that's why it suffered so greatly, was because he didn't really have a direction which was conducive to, you know, sort of perpetuating the story or making it. Wow, I lost all of my $5 words. Sort of moving the film forward more quickly, and then slowing it down in certain spaces would have been greatly appreciated. They should have had more interaction with the core, definitely. So because I mean that was just the best part of the movie, was seeing Kilowog interact with Hal. Seeing, you know, Sinestro was amazing. Who's that guy that plays him? Army? No, that's not right.
Mark Strong.
Mark Strong.
He was the bad guy in the first Sherlock Holmes movie also.
He was amazing in both of those roles.
Yeah, he's a very good actor. And I love how they set up for the next Green Lantern movie to be about Sinestro. It's just, I don't know if they'll make that movie now.
They're going to make it, but it's going to be...
Well, after the amount of money that they spent on the first Green.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think after how much they spent on the first movie, and then it bombed, you know, comparison. I'm so sorry. My laptop is sucking freaking balls right now. I can't get this. I don't know if I'm synced up with you guys or not. Anyways, what happened with the first movie was that they spent all this money, and to me it looked like a pretty video game. They made this very pretty looking video game with, you know, Ryan Reynolds and whatnot, but they spent way too much money on the first movie to bomb out, and now, you know, I don't think the second movie is going to get made because of the fact that they spent so much money for a bomb movie.
At one juncture, I heard that he was in for another dark, gritty reboot of the, well, not like gritty reboot, but like the second film is going to be darker and more serious. And it's like, no, that's absolutely the wrong direction. Man of Steel does not need to be a Frank Miller clone. Nolan's Batman only worked because it was Batman. And, you know, I'm kind of seeing, like, the 90s sort of comic book thing where, like, Watchmen comes out in the mid-80s, and then, you know, people are like, oh, all comic books have to be like that. And it's like, no, man, no. Just, it was a good story because it was a good story, not because it was dark and gritty. It was a good story that happened to be dark and gritty. You're focusing on the wrong plot points.
And I think that's what's going to be the problem, because we've already seen it, like you said, with Man of Steel. They've decided it has to be dark and gritty because that's what worked with the Nolan movies. I mean, and in all fairness, Nolan is basically the godfather of the new Superman movie, for lack of a better term.
Right,
He's overseeing parts of it. But Superman is not a dark character.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, even during the 90s where he was like, mullet solar suit Superman, like he was still a nice guy. He was like I just have long hair, and then he would like fly off and, you know, eat you know, cream cheese bagels with Lois on the moon or something. But like, you know, it's like it's just, you know, comic books and comic book movies don't need to be dark, and that's really what drove the Avengers to success. Because even though they were set in sort of pseudo-realistic, they weren't like realism like the Nolan movies were, but they were definitely set in sort of a more realer world than a lot of comic book movies had been set in before, especially the latter Batman movies and Catwoman, Elektra, Daredevil, which were set in, you know, sort of, the second Punisher for sure, which was just set in a crazy comic book world. But like, you know, like that can work too. It can be a, you know, good movie, but like, you know, you have to sort of figure out, you know, where you're going with. And I think that as soon as Marvel Studios started really developing their characters and setting up a universe, and there were universal rules, just like anything, once there's rules, then you can start to build upon things. And I think that they did a fantastic job of setting up the Avengers. They did a fantastic job of making you care about those characters. And, you know, I love the sort of Steve Rogers Aquaman dynamic that was going into it, where Steve Rogers in the Avengers was sort of I relate him to the Aquaman allegory. And just so you guys know, I'm a huge Aquaman fan, so there's no disrespect intended here. But the thing about it is Steve Rogers is a man out of his element, and that's kind of how I've always viewed Aquaman in the Justice League. Aquaman is an underwater king, a king of 70% of the earth, and then he's hanging out on you know, land, and he's still powerful, and he's still relevant, and he still has all these abilities, but he's not in his element. And I really feel like Steve Rogers in the Avengers was like that. And he was sort of you know, it was like, there's only one God, and he doesn't dress like that flying out of an airplane. But like, you know, that
was an awesome scene too.
What?
That was an awesome scene too.
Yeah, it was great. You know, at first I was like, okay, there's Steve Rogers, have fun. But like the more I think about it, I'm like, man, that's great. That's just so so fitting of his character.
Exactly.
You know?
It hits the character to a T, where he's that earnest, good moral character kind of superhero, where he won't cross the moral line really, and everything is good and wholesome, for lack of a better term, until you get to some of the darker stuff they're running now. But
right. Well, I mean,
I've actually heard some interesting quips about that line, because people are, you know, how we are with religion and these days, this day and age, like, people are like, really, do you think he had to say that? Do you think, you know, Steve Rogers would have had to be Christian, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, just read the comic. It's obvious he's a Christian, but, like, well, even so, it's not overly, like, there.
And that's a really good point, is that Steve Rogers' background lends him to be some sort of, sort of quote-unquote all-American from the 1940s. I needed air quotes for those of you listening to the podcast. He's sort of this guy who, you know, in that time, in that place where he was from, he would have been most likely some form of Christian denomination, you know. And, you know, it's funny because it's sort of the weird sort of placement of, like, he is hanging out with demigods and guys in suits of armor, and, you know, people who can rip alien technology apart with their bare hands. And he's like, you know, I still hold on to these beliefs, and it's like, okay, you know, it's just like, I don't know, like, from DC. Oh, go ahead.
No, keep going.
Oh,
I'm
from
just
DC
chiming
Comics,
in.
From DC Comics, there's a line in the Starman comics from the 1990s where one of the characters in there, Ted Knight, is this old JSA character, and he's an atheist. And when a Superman asks Jack Knight, who's his son, the 90s Starman, about it, and he says something along the lines of, he's like, how can your father be an atheist when he served on the same team as the Spectre? And he's like, that's just my dad, you know. And some comic characters are like that, you know. It makes for an interesting thing where, you know, they have such strong convictions, even though they're hanging out with people that completely contradict their sort of worldview or their religious experience. So I guess it takes all kinds to fill the road, as Bruce Campbell says.
No, I think it's interesting, but, like, my big joke was that, because everyone was like, don't post spoilers about the Avengers, don't post spoilers about the Avengers. My big one that I used the most was that the ice didn't freeze completely through and Steve Rogers was a zombie. I thought that would have been great, but that's just me. But I think people tend to forget that he's from, you know, the 1940s. He's not, because you even see, like, little actions that he would do, like he would tend to protect Black Widow, like with the shield and stuff like that. You can see that he's from. No, go ahead.
And he even has the other mannerisms. Everyone's sir and ma'am when he talks to them, and even the clothes he wears straight out of the 40s.
So he's basically a modern-day Midwesterner.
Yeah, basically.
I can say that because I'm a tried and true Midwesterner. So.
I was gonna say I'm Chicagoan. Whatever, yo.
Yeah. So I was actually just in Chicago. It's
I know. I felt bad that I couldn't.
Oh no, I was too tired to do anything. Like, I was gonna go sketch in the park, and I was like, I'm just going to sleep. So I hope there wasn't anyone from my Twitter feed like looking for me. Like, I'll be at a Chicago park. I'll give you hints at where it is. I'll do sketches for you, and then like I just sleep in a car. But yeah, no, it's, you know, there's a lot of really good parts of Steve Rogers in the Avengers, and, you know, I think that they did a good job of sort of filtering the movie through his eyes. That's something that someone said, you know, they filtered it through the eyes of Steve Rogers. And I was like, yeah, they did, but it was Iron Man's show, sort of. And then, you know, I wish Thor would have got more screen time, considering it was his brother that was the villain. But, you know, what can you do? I'm a Thor guy.
It's hard to balance that many characters, though, and I think they did a really good job with what they had.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
I mean, and who knows what all the deleted scenes were. Suppose there's about 40 minutes worth of deleted scenes, and those might be the scenes where you might have seen Thor and Steve Rogers get a little more screen time to themselves, or where they're the center of focus.
Right. So, Ruffalo Hulk was amazing, though.
I was going to say, I was very impressed with Mark Ruffalo as Hulk. Like, going into it, you know, I was a little scared just because I did enjoy Edward Norton so much, and I had talked about that before you know, I went on my tiny hiatus there, that Edward Norton was my favorite Hulk because I have a love for Edward Norton and whatever. But you know what? I really enjoyed Mark Ruffalo. I really enjoyed him. And
well, not to dominate the conversation here, but I just wanted to add, Jess, that the thing about Ed Norton's Hulk was it's pretty great when you go to a Hulk movie and you go in with the intention of seeing him smash things, and then the entire movie you're rooting for him not to turn into the Hulk. That's pretty powerful. That's a good performance if you're going to see a straightforward action movie about destruction, and then you're actually like hoping that he doesn't turn into the Hulk because you're so with him on that control journey that he's having of, you know, controlling his anger and things like that. So, and I think it's set up perfectly for Avengers when you know, when it was revealed what his secret was for controlling it. So
I think what they screw up with the Hulk movies and what they fixed with the Avengers, and I hope that they keep it this way, was the fact that they focused so much on him not turning into the Hulk, you know, don't make him angry, blah, 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 that sort of thing. And with the Avengers is that they finally showed that, look, he has control over it. You know, now they can actually make a movie on him. And I think that was the downfall with the Hulk movies, is that they just didn't have that control. Because they just kept making it the same. Like, to me, it felt like the same movie over and over, just with better acting as the time went on. But better acting and better special effects. But it was always oh, he got into the accident, oh, now he's running because he might get angry, blah, blah, blah. But now, with the Avengers, they revealed, you know, now he finally has control. Now we can make a real Hulk movie. At least that's how I felt it would finally get to. Like, now we get a real Hulk.
I think the next time we're going to see the Hulk, and this is just my personal opinion here, and a lot of people, I believe it was hinted at the end of the Avengers movie, that next time we're going to see the Hulk and Ruffalo is going to be in Iron Man 3. It's going to be Iron Man and the Hulk. I know it.
I will say,
fantastic.
What they have said is they signed him to 6 movies to be the Hulk, not necessarily 6 Hulk movies. But what they've said about Iron Man 3, when you go into the casting and the talking with the producers, is that they're going to do their best to separate Tony from the Avengers in that movie. So you might have the Hulk, or at least Bruce Banner, in the very beginning, just as like a cameo type thing, similar to what they did with Pepper in the Avengers, but I don't think he's going to play a prominent role.
No. I don't think he'll play a prominent role, but I think they'll begin the bromance going. You know, they'll keep that bromance going that they got. And it'll be very... It might just be him working in the background. You know, they're very brilliant minds, and they're putting them together, which I think is a fantastic idea.
I agree.
I'd love to see either an Iron Man 3 or Hulk 4, 3.
It'd be
weird
3 for
reboot.
Hulk.
Yeah, well... Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. The thing about that, though, is I would love to see them introduce in Hulk's movie Hank and Janet. I would love to see that. Sort of as I think that would be the place to put them, or possibly in Iron Man 3. But I really think that a Hulk movie would be the place to showcase.
There's a crazy conspiracy theory for the debut of Ant-Man. Is it supposedly, I think it's Edgar Wright was supposed to be directing a rumored Ant-Man movie, but where's the article?
I would cheer so hard if there was Ant-Man.
Well, in this article on Bleeding Cool, they talk about there's a one-shot on the Avengers Blu-ray release called One Shot, and the last 2 are about Coulson, but they don't say what this one is. But if you remember, Edgar Wright has been making some odd comments about Ant-Man recently. He said, I shot something recently and can't tell you what, and maybe I'll shoot some Ant-Man sometime this year, were his 2 quotes, and there's an unnamed one-shot vignette or whatever on the Avengers, so everyone's starting to think that might be Ant-Man.
Interesting. I mean, I would love to see my 3 favorite Marvel characters are the 2 Hanks, Hank McCoy and Hank Pym and Thor, and so I would love to see them get some screen time and just bury the whole wife beater thing just way deep underground where it never sees the light of day. It's like a way to completely destroy that character forever. I was reading, you know, I don't read a lot of Marvel these days, but I used to when I was in high school and the Ultimates were coming out, and I was reading the Ultimates and I was like, but Ant-Man, does he really, like, try to beat his wife? Like, is that really true? And then, like, they're like, yeah, he has in the past, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, I was like, well, that doesn't seem like the Ant-Man that I used to read in, like, Avengers, like the Avengers reprints from, like, you know, Kirby and Lee stuff, so I don't know. Marvel makes a lot of bad decisions regarding their characters.
All I know is that Nathan Fillion should have been Ant-Man, though.
Nathan Fillion can play any role and everyone would be happy ever.
Yeah,
I want to see him as Batman.
You can't cast him for everything. Come on, guys.
Oh, I don't want to.
Well, okay,
I want him to be Ant-Man.
Okay, I thought that Nathan Fillion would be wrong to play live-action Green Lantern. I thought that he would be, even though he's a great actor, if he were playing Alan Scott, I'd be totally fine with that, but there's no way that he would be Hal. Now, he does a great Hal voice, and I love his voice acting in the DC Animated Universe movies.
Yep.
When he does play Green Lantern, he does a great Green Lantern voice. But I don't see him as a Green Lantern.
It's the same thing with Kevin Conroy. I love his Batman voice, but I never would have advocated him being live-action Batman.
Absolutely not. There's no way. Like, he is the iconic, like, when I read Batman comics, that's the voice I hear in my head.
Exactly. I hear Kevin Conroy.
Right. But it's like, well, it'd be weird to be reading, you know, Christian, quick to the Batmobile, Robin.
Val
but,
Kilmer.
you know, it's like...
Yeah, Josh hears Val Kilmer.
Hey, listen. Forever gets a lot of flack, but it's actually a great Batman movie. It's a terrible Bruce Wayne movie, and Val Kilmer is a terrible Bruce Wayne, but he's an excellent
He's a good Batman.
Excellent Batman.
All I know is...
And that movie was a love letter to the sort of 90s reimagining of the 1930s and 50s. Not the 1940s so much Batman, but 1930s and 1950s Batman. It was definitely apropos of a 90s reboot of those two forms of comics where he was, you know, sort of pulpy and outlandish and crazy, but it was good. It was overall an entertaining movie. So I mean, I don't know. I actually have a Batman Forever poster in my house, but it's just because in my man cave in here. But it's because my wife loves Tommy Lee Jones. So fair enough. It's a great movie. So. But yeah, no, Nathan Fillion would make an okay Ant-Man. I think now, like 2002, Nathan Fillion would have made a great Ant-Man. I think now he's getting to be a little bit too old for that role. So, but I don't know. Maybe. Well, no, and I'm not trying to be ageist here at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, as an actor, he sort of develop different roles with, you know, Castle and things like that. Like, I'm not saying that he couldn't play it. I'm just saying that now he sort of, like, I see him in a different light. I don't see him playing Ant-Man. So, maybe Hank Pym, but not Ant-Man.
You know, I don't know who I would cast in for Ant-Man. I'm one of those people, though, who like really advocate people to go outside of the normal celebrities that we have, just because I work in theater, so it would be really cool if those of us who are working our way up from the bottom could actually have a shot. But you know, I don't think people really understand how much money we put into theater and like how much we put into our acting lives, and we get nothing out of it. So it would just be nice to see someone actually succeed from the bottom up and not just pay their way to the top. So I have people who I can imagine out here, but nobody knows who they are. So it's just kind of like, it'd be kind of nice.
One last thing I'll say on Avengers,
too.
Then I'll stop talking about it, is did you see that Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid percentage of box office? So right now he's made about 50 mil off Avengers.
So he pulled a Jack Nicholson?
Robert Downey Jr., that is, I'm sorry. Yeah, he pulled a Jack Nicholson. Everyone else signed these smaller contracts, but since he kind of set everything up and had done 2 movies already, they signed in that he'd get a portion of box office. So he's making bank. They were saying over 50 mil.
Bank. I mean, seriously.
It's the Lucas thing where Lucas is like, all right, you guys can pay me whatever you want, but I want merchandising rights for toys. And they're like, ha ha ha, okay.
And then you got Return of the Jedi.
Little do they know. Little do they know.
which is why he made Return of the Jedi. Just like all like, he's like, maybe I could add more ships. Maybe I could add more aliens.
Yeah.
Add more toys.
Yeah.
I think Return of the Jedi would have been better if he'd gone with his original plan to have everything take place on Kashyyyk and have a bunch of Wookiees. But then he realized it's a lot harder to find giant people than it is to find midgets.
It's true. Little people actors are in short supply. But absolutely no pun intended. I didn't mean to say that one. But, well, no, I don't know. But I think there's a lot of legitimacy now in little people. Like not that there ever was a question about it, but like, you know, like they're really coming to the forefront, especially with Tyrion Lannister. What's the gentleman's name?
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage, who is amazing in 30 Rock. He's great. He's the best. Him and Arya are the best part of Game of Thrones. It's just, it's really starting to become more. There's more little people actors really coming to the forefront, and I think that, you know, that's something that's really important. But, you know, and there's a large group of them, you know, and they don't just have to play, you know, I don't know. I was watching a documentary about it, and the only roles out there for a long time were of elves or, you know, hobbits or whatever, and now, you know, it's becoming more and more easy and socially right to cast little people as, you know, people, which is, I think, is great. But yeah, there are a lot of little people actors out there that are sort of looking for work. So I think that, you know, George Lucas kind of had a soft spot for that, and, you know, kind of made it. And also, I mean, yeah, I don't know, but true story. Peter Mayhew's the jerk. True story.
See, I've always heard he's really nice.
I must have caught him on a bad day, but it was Wizard World 2003. I was 17 years old, and my brother and I went down to the Star Wars alley to kind of, you know, meet him, and so anyways, we're going, and I went up to his, you know, thing, and I went to go meet Peter Mayhew because I was a huge Chewbacca fan, just absolutely my favorite Star Wars character, you know, and so anyway, so I go up to meet him, and he's sitting there pre-signing autographs, and I was like, well, Mr. Mayhew, it's a huge honor to meet you, and, you know, growing up, whenever we'd play Star Wars, I was always Chewbacca, and just, you know, I love Chewbacca, and I just think he's a great character, and thank you for portraying him and being so great to the fans. And he looks up from signing autographs, and he's like, you know, like, well, that's all fine and good then, but if you're not going to buy anything, get out of my stand. And I was like, what? So, I mean, I don't know. That's just the experience I had. But then again, I had a really good experience with Alex Ross, who everyone else tells me is not a great person to meet when he's signing autographs. So, but, you know, I don't know. I have no idea. So maybe he's just having a rough day, but...
He's got to pay bills too, man.
I'm sure that, my sound's all screwed up. I've had days where it's just conventions are very high pressure, especially for, you know, actors who are from previous movies that aren't necessarily, like, Star Wars kind of sells itself, but if, you know, they go into panels and they don't really have anything to promote because, you know, they're there for one reason, and it's from a movie from, you know, 20, 30 years ago, whatever. So it's kind of, I know that sometimes they tend to get very more pressured because they need to sell these things so they can make money and they can pay their bills too. So I kind of know where he's coming from. I feel bad that you had that experience with him. But, you know, for the most part, I've never had somebody, at least in my convention working days, that was just an absolute asshole that I couldn't deal with.
And see, I've never had that experience either. I met, like, Dave Prowse, I've met Jim Lee, I've met, a whole bunch of Kevin Smith, and they've all been so cool. And it was just like stunning to me. But, like, you know, like, I understand everyone has bad days and, you know, might have been sick or under the weather or whatever. So
it's very possible, and, you know, it happens sometimes.
I met Edward James Olmos a couple years back, and he was one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and was willing to sit there and talk for 15 minutes about Battlestar Galactica, even though I'd already gotten my autograph.
That's great.
I think I'd just hug him. I don't know. He seems like a guy that would be great for hugging. He follows me on Twitter.
He follows everybody on Twitter.
Too.
So he can bombard you with Waterkeeper stuff.
I know, but I was like, I saved that email that says Edward James Olmos is following you.
Yeah.
I feel important now. Yes.
Admiral Adama follows me.
Oh wow.
Okay. Does anybody else watch Dexter?
I've seen the first couple of, the first couple of episodes of the first season, but no.
Watch Dexter.
Okay, he was on this last season of Dexter, and this whole season, like I was really expecting it to start going downhill, because you start watching Dexter, you always feel like once a show hits so many seasons that it's just going to start going downhill and blah blah blah. And this is Dexter's fifth season, I think.
Fifth or sixth, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was season 5 or season 6, and it still kept the momentum going, and especially in Colin Hanks Colin Hanks and Edward James Olmos were the two baddies this year, and it was just like head explosions.
Awesome. I love Colin Hanks.
Did he ever say frack?
He never said frack. No,
oh.
I'm sorry, but it was total head explosions, and now there's only 2 seasons left. They've already I'm glad that they wrote out an ending and everything for it, because they're going to end this season. They're ending it at 8 seasons, I think, 8 or 9. Or I know it's 2 more seasons to whatever was just happening. So I think since we were on season 6, we're going to be ending at season 8. And I'm since they wrote an ending, they can keep that momentum going. You see the momentum fall with people that don't know how many seasons they're going to have.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I guess if we're going for the transition here, I'll tell you what TV show I want for at least 3 more seasons and possibly a movie.
6 seasons in a movie! 6 seasons in a movie!
6 seasons in a movie, indeed. It's my absolute favorite. I cannot express how much I absolutely love Community. Absolutely cannot.
And since we talk about video games a lot, if anyone saw it, they did the 16-bit episode where they made everything look like a Super Nintendo game, and it was
that was so great. I just watched it last
hilarious.
night. So great.
Troy and I bet shooting lava. I enjoyed the hell out of that. You should have seen me squeeing. My poor family. They're dealing with me going through some stuff right now. And they're just they're like, why are you screaming? I'm like, 'cause it's 16-bit. It's so exciting. And I'm very upset with what's happening with Community. I don't know if everybody's up to date with that, but they're moving it to the
Dan
Friday
Harmon situation.
They're moving it to the Friday death slot, and they got rid of Dan Harmon. Well, he's a creative consultant.
And they're pairing it with Whitney.
Oh, God.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about that. Okay, and this is, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Okay, on 3 different points, or possibly 2. I don't remember what my third one was. But first of all, the Friday night death slot is no longer that big of a deal because ratings are down across the board.
And it's on NBC.
NBC knows now, unfortunately, that when we came back to save Community, that there's a huge fan base of viewers out there who don't necessarily watch it when it comes out. We watch it on our Hulu. We watch it on, what's that thing called where rich
DVR.
people can record movies?
DVR. That's what I have.
DVR,
I love my DVR.
So, anyways, but they DVR things. And so, that's not necessarily a big deal because they're still going to be getting revenue and viewership. They know that, we're there. Now, Whitney is the worst TV show I've ever seen. Worse than Cop Rock, worse than, any other horrible TV show that you've seen. It's awful.
I watched the first episode and I wanted my 30 minutes back.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't hate Whitney Cummings. I don't think she's the most talented comedian in the world, but I do not hate her like some people do. And Two Broke Girls is actually really funny. But I hate Whitney. I hate the TV show Whitney. And so, like, you know, like, yes, they are pairing it with Whitney, which is awful, and no one's going to go there to see Whitney, but pretty much we'll go to see Community anywhere that it is. If we're on at 3 o'clock in the morning, they'd still have a huge fan base, and people would still watch the TV show. So it's not like the traditional sort of, you know, well, you know, people are going to go out on Friday nights. Well, you know, we all live on our computers now. We all, you know, so it doesn't matter. Because, you know, this is Ready Player One or The Surrogates or anything, you know, the Robo future where we're all plugged in, the Matrix. No, and then also, you know, Dan Harmon, you know, being kicked off or leaving or whatever the thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Dan Harmon fan. Growing up as a geek in the Midwest, the Dead Alewives were something that are spoke about in hushed tones and legend. You know, being in Wisconsinite in exile. I mean, you know, a bunch of guys from Milwaukee in the 80s coming out and just being like, we're nerds and we love it. And, you know, and he was part of that group. And, you know, I have an immense amount of respect for Dan Harmon. And it's very sad that he's leaving the TV show. I will not, under any circumstances, boycott my favorite TV show on the air, no matter what happens. My Community, right or wrong.
He's not... He didn't leave. He didn't know
he was forced out.
He was getting kicked off until
right.
Yeah, he was on a plane and there was an announcement made. He didn't find, like, nobody contacted him. Nobody told him anything until he saw it on the internet.
And that's very wrong. And I don't agree with NBC's decision to do that. And I think that if
that was actually Sony that did that.
Oh, really?
Because Sony is a Sony Entertainment, whatever.
Oh, I didn't. I
had no rights to it. So it wasn't NBC in that one. I don't think. I think it was Sony, from what I'd read, that did it.
Well,
we're quick to dump on NBC for everything. I just think we should be careful not to if it's not their fault.
Right. No, totally. I didn't have that information. So, and I mean, so far, I mean, NBC is pretty much the only television network I watch, because I watch, you know, 30 Rock, SNL, Parks and Rec. Any the Office, any sort of their, you know, comedy stuff. So, but
I think they're making a mistake with what they're doing now.
Yeah, it's not like, it's not a good business.
30 Rock, Parks and Rec, and Community are all up for their last seasons being next season, and they shortened them. And I'm like, this 30 Rock especially, who's a longtime stander in the community, like everybody knows 30 Rock. Like, I don't know anybody who doesn't know 30 Rock. And it's one of those shows that everybody knows, and it's going really strongly this season. Like, I think this season has been absolutely fantastic. Especially the live show. Like, the live show was just amazing to me.
Well, John Hamm is just a genius, but...
That's true.
30 Rock is the Tina Fey show. Right?
Yeah, it's Tina Fey show, where she is Tracy Morgan is Tracy something similar.
Eddie, you're fired.
Yeah, don't watch. All I know is it has Tina Fey and the chick that got to touch Mariah Carey's body in the music video, and the dude. Sorry.
I will tell you, Josh. You can watch it on Hulu. You got to watch Community. I think you'd enjoy it because it's got lots of nice references, and especially one of their last episodes where literally it was like a giant Super Nintendo game.
There's a rebel flag hidden in the mountain. It was so funny.
It was great.
It's just so, like, so many in-jokes, but, like, things that you can watch and get, and it's funny if you know what it's funny if you know what they're talking about, and, you know, or it's funny if you don't want to know what they're talking about, but it's really funny if you do know what they're talking about.
Any TV show that takes 3 seasons to set up a Beetlejuice gag is good in my book. Did anyone else notice that, though? Like, in season 1, they mentioned Beetlejuice. Season 2, they mentioned Beetlejuice. And in season 3, they did. And the third time, they said that guy just walks by just like Beetlejuice in the background.
It was fantastic. I think anybody who can pull off something like that, I don't think should have been canned. You know? Like, and people noticed it. People loved it. And I'm, like, sitting here like, why would you get rid of the person who created things like Troy and Abed? You know, that relationship right there is just a magical relationship.
The problem with Community that we have is that it's not designed to appeal to the masses. Like most of these other things, and a lot of TV shows you see nowadays are designed to appeal to the masses, really. And this is
Don't even get me started on Big Bang Theory. I hate that TV show. I hate it.
I liked it at
I
first,
think
and now
he's
it's getting
passionate
old.
about hating Big
But
Bang Theory.
do you want to cut it? Because that's what we do on this podcast. We cut things we hate.
No, just put it on a slap track. Just gone. No, I just no. I could spend 3 hours with my plot points about how Big Bang Theory is just it's an awful TV show. It's damaging
And I
to
like the Big
our
Bang
community
Theory.
as a whole. What?
Okay, here's the thing. I enjoy the Big Bang Theory, but I enjoy it on a very shallow level. I don't ever go deep into thought. Like when I go deep in thinking about it, like I hate the fact that Penny doesn't have a last name. Penny isn't a real person. You know, I as long as I don't think about it, I don't mind it. Like I used to really enjoy it, and then it all became about dating and relationships and blah blah blah. How much I hate that. You know, and I've gone into discussion when Elliot was on the show on how much I hate relationships in sci-fi and don't get your dirty relationships all over my stuff. And on a shallow level, Big Bang Theory is entertaining as long as I don't go any deeper into thought about it.
The problem I have with it is I have been friends with all kinds of nerds, all kinds of geeks and dorks and people who are interested in the same thing that I am, people who are loosely interested in the same thing. I've had friends that are into anime, which I don't do. But, like, you know, it's just, I don't know anyone who acts like that. I don't know people. It's a misrepresentation, though, to say that, you know, it'd be like, I don't know, having, just having an African American or black character that just acted like you know, John Shaft all the time. Like it's inappropriate. It's not befitting to have sort of this you know, collection of people that are supposed to be, you know. And people always ask me like, oh, you like Big Bang Theory, right? And I'm like no, actually I find it almost offensive. Like it's because like, and they just make cheap comic book jokes all the time. Like I'm like come on. Those are just, they're so, and I know that they're supposed to be like mass appeal stuff, and I hate it. I hate the whole, you know, just, I mean, at least they're getting some of their stuff right, but I can't, it's making me stupid how banished, forever, gone from this program, so.
See, with Big Bang Theory, and I think this is just how, I know people who are Sheldon. I know people who are Leonard and all that. I think they really missed out by not adding a black guy into it because I don't think they realize how many black people are in the community, and I think that actually drives me crazy. So I'm like, we're very stereotyped to be either white guys or Asian guys, and it's like, no, it's everybody. Like, there's nerds from every kind of race, and there's female nerds like me, and it's not just me. There's a lot of female nerds that are out there. And
well, and that's an excellent point because, you know, like, it's like the entire original premise of the show was there's these three nerdy guys who are sort of, you know, the seven dwarfs and Snow White thing, where, you know, they're there to add as a, you know, sort of a support group or support cast for this female character, and then pretty soon it just de-evolved like, oh, the nerds are taking off, so let's leave her behind. And it's just like, but you know, like the original thing was supposed to be like them falling over themselves about this pretty girl. And it's like I've never, I don't know, as a married nerd who married like another nerd, it's not, it may be like that for some people, but it's never been like, I've never had that experience where it's like, oh, I don't know how to talk to girls. I've always been, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just more social than most nerds, but there are tons of female nerds out there. There are tons of people of color who enjoy nerdy things. There are tons of people all over the world from every single background, every single ethnic group or credo or religion that like nerdy things, and I don't think that it's being properly represented in the Big Bang Theory and a lot of geeky media. So, or when they are represented, they're represented in a way which is not accurate or becoming.
I look at it this way: the Big Bang Theory is a parody of nerd culture. It's not. All right. I was a nerd before it was socially cool. Nowadays, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a nerd. I like comic books." Come on, that's not how it was mid-90s, oh, you like comic books, haha, and haha, and all that stupid stuff. But nowadays,
Right,
it's actually become
exactly.
acceptable, and it feels like Big Bang Theory almost at times. While I enjoy it just from an entertainment standpoint at times, it's almost like a step back, because I like to go to just the old cliched jokes.
Right. And it's like, I don't know. It is frustrating. It's frustrating for those of us who fought in the trenches and, had their Sebulba pencil toppers stolen in the freshman year of high school, and they found it ground up in front of their locker, like me. It's hard. It's hard.
That was a very specific reference. I think this might have happened to you.
Right. No, it's still bitter. Still bitter. I love that Sebulba pencil topper. Anyways, but no, like, I don't know. It's hard for me to imagine now that, had you told me, 10 years ago when this was happening that, you're going to be watching an Avengers movie. There's going to be, comic book T-shirts and hats in every Walmart in America. So it's just, it's nuts that, we've inherited the earth, but now what do we do? What do we do with our detractors?
I think
Caught
that...
him.
Exactly. I think just coming from the female nerd perspective, we aren't, at least for a lot of girls, and I don't know if it's, I know a few other girls who have gone through this as well, where people think we're fake, with that, we were created by a society because they couldn't just have the male white nerd who lives in their mother's basement anymore, so we're just a product of our society, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like sitting here like, no, here's the thing. I couldn't tell anybody when I was in grade school that I was reading comic books because I had a Power Rangers folder, and I was ridiculed beyond belief for having just a Power Rangers folder. And I wasn't about to open my mouth and say, oh yeah, by the way, I read comic books too, and I watch Star Wars, and I can recite the entire series for you, and, all this other stuff. I couldn't, we weren't allowed to come out until, I don't know, the past 5 years or so, where people are just like, yeah, being a nerd is cool, and I'm like, oh, so I can tell you that I've been reading Green Lantern since I was, 4, and Spider-Man was my very first comic book, and X-Men is something that I want to be. I want to be an X-Men, in X-Men, and I'm just like, I don't think, I think that it was very much missed, that, and I think Big Bang Theory, as much as Andy hates it, as much as we don't want to give it credit for, if we didn't have shows like Big Bang Theory, it wouldn't be acceptable to be a nerd. And I still get mocked for how nerdy I am. Like, I have friends who aren't really nerds, they just kind of know what I'm talking about, and I'll make a reference to it, and they'll just be like, whatever, nerd, and like, they'll, and that's fine, but, as long as, I think Big Bang Theory paved that way for nerds to be acceptable, or helped pave the way for nerds to be acceptable in popular culture.
Well, I mean, that's a valid point to make, and, I do tend to sort of go, if I don't like something, I really don't like it, I actively tear at it from the outside. But I just want to say that it's awful that you had that experience, and sort of the Neil Gaiman thing where he was talking about how being a straight white male is the easiest setting. If real life were a video game, that being a straight white male is the easiest difficulty setting. Yeah, and it's true, because regardless of your financial situation, in society, in our screwed up society, that's the norm, or the acceptable norm, especially for being a nerd. And it's so awful, because and I don't recall, I'm sure that at some juncture I was like, girls can't be nerds, blah blah blah, guy stuff, even though like the stuff that I was doing was considered to be the least masculine thing you could possibly do. But I wised up very quickly as soon as the first time I played D&D with a girl was probably about, I'd say, 2002, and it was like they were so much. She was just amazing. She was a great role player, and just way better than all of us. And I was like, what if all girls are better at D&D than boys? I want to play with girls, obviously. That's, and I don't know, and that's the moment that it clicked. I was like, she knows exactly what she's talking about. She's already played D&D like 400 times, like, and that was like when it sort of like opened up for me. I was like, wow, like, you know, like the female nerds not only exist, and like my mom's like an Anglophile, like she's totally into like King Arthur and like, you know, like Monty Python and just, you know, all this sort of stuff. So like I was sort of raised by a female nerd, but it, you know, it didn't really click with like my specific set of stuff until I was exposed to it, and then I was like, this totally makes sense. So I mean, I'm sorry that you had that experience. I really wish that, you know, our society were different in that regard.
That's just what it was, you know, growing up. It's like, okay, this part of me I'm not going to talk about, you know, the fact that I was obsessed with Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and like just wanted to be one of them. Like I was such a nerd, and you know, you're not allowed to talk about that when you're a girl and you're a kid growing up, and you know, like I would, you know, being bullied is just part of the gig, you know, and that's fine. I don't, you know, I can, you know, I'm a big girl now. I can hold my own, and I'll knock you out if you say something stupid to me. But I mean, it is what it is, and you know, as much as, and bringing it back to topic, you know, as much as we hate on Big Bang Theory, as much as we hate on, you know, I hate, my personal thing that I hate, like how you hate Big Bang Theory, is this TV show that's coming out on TLC called Geek Love, which is a geek dating reality TV show.
Oh, my soul just died.
I fucking hate it more than life itself. And it's because they literally did what they took this stereotypical geek, and I'm so awkward, and you know, I only make Wookiee noises and blah blah blah, and I'm like, dude, can you make us look like such losers? Like, I think
we're gonna make you look far worse.
Just, like, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
we'll take all progress you've made in society, and we'll just mock you completely for it now.
Like, they made us look like the worst possible things in the world. Like, they made us look like we're the most socially awkward beings, and I'm like sitting there like, no! Like, yes, there are some of us out here who are socially awkward, and you know what? That's fine, but why would you fucking put it out on camera? Like, I still write now and then for sciencefiction.com, and you know, I do work for I do volunteer work with New York City Comic Con and C2E2, where they film these things because they have speed dating, and I'm like, I just walk away, because you know what? Just like,
you have to, because it's not representative, and there are a lot of, you know, introverts out there, introvert geeks and things like that, and that's totally legit. Like, that's totally fine. You know, I'm not trying to bust on anyone who's an introvert or anyone like that, or, you know, things, but those people are people. There are people, and we need to take care of them. And that's like, not take care of them because they can't take care of themselves, but like have their backs with what they want to do and their personality type. But like, you know, it's completely ridiculous to think that, you know, we're socially awkward. You know, because, I mean, you know, you've got all these nerdy people that are running things now, running huge mega corporations. You know, lots of people in Hollywood now are geeks, or were able to come out as geeks, and you know, just it's ridiculous to think. That's so awful. I just can't believe that that's actually a thing.
It's awful, and it, like, that insulted me more than the Big Bang Theory had ever insulted me. Like, I'm just like, okay, I'm a single girl who happens to be a nerd, and it's not the fact that I can't get a date because I am socially awkward and a little weird, and I'm perfectly okay with this. Like, I know I am. What insults me is the fact that we put so much on our society. We put so much to be in a relationship, to be in this, like, you constantly have to be with somebody, blah, blah, blah. I enjoy being single. Like, I you know, I'm not a whore. I don't go out and sleep around or anything like that. I just kind of feel like it's something that is way underrated in society. And like shows like The Big Bang Theory and Geek Love, and make it look bad for those of us who are out there, you know, who are geeks and a little socially awkward and, you know, whatever, that it makes it look bad that we have to be with somebody, and we have to be with somebody from our own culture, you know, from the geek culture too, because nobody else will ever understand us. And I'm like,
segregation is an important
that's
part of
not
the
how
world.
that's not how society works. Like, you can be in you know, you could be labeled as the geek and date the prom king. You know, it can happen.
Or be the prom king or prom queen. It's open. You know, I don't know. You know, as geeks in the past, my father's generation, my mother's generation, there was a huge amount of labeling that went into everything. Geeks would do it from the inside, people would do it from the outside. And, you know, we have to, you know, section things off and make certain people are this way, certain people are this way, you know, and that's just a very old-fashioned and wrong way to think. And I think that that's something that we have to really think about in our culture, in the geek culture. As geeks, you know, we can't start, you know, trying to divide ourselves into groups and start saying, you know, hey, because, like, I'm going to get an anime guy's back just as much as I'm going to get, you know, someone who's into Western comic books or anything like that, because I understand that guy's experience. He likes something completely different, she likes something completely different, and that's totally fine, but I'm going to stand up for him, because I didn't have those experiences and think, well, now that, you know, we're on top or whatever, that it's going to be, you know, any better, any worse for anyone else. We have to stick together. We have to, as a human race, as people that live in North America, as geeks, as whatever, we all have to stick together.
Oh, and I completely agree. I think any dating show, like The Bachelor or whatever, what else is out there that's fucking stupid. I hate reality TV. I think it's fucking dumb. Shows like Community need to strive, while like shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette.
You mean Jersey Shore isn't the greatest TV show ever? Is that what you're saying?
I will punch you in the head. I will punch you really hard in the head.
Talk about emulating what you hate. It's just like, what led you to your punch to the face? No, it's ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. And, like, you know, but, you know, reality TV is actually very easy to produce. It's cheap. People love it. It's the equivalent of you know, the town, you know, in the medieval times, the town buffoon eating mud in front of a place and, you know, begging for coins.
Right.
It's that sort of entertainment. Just someone farting on a stage for money. It's I don't know. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. It makes us as a society look bad. You know, even in just America alone, like, you go to another country, they look at you like, you are a drunk buffoon, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, that was a horrible accent. I don't even know what I was trying to go for there. I'm sorry. But, I mean, it makes us look bad as a culture. And I'm like, why doesn't anybody else see this? Like, why do we continually watch these shows? Why do we watch shows like, why do people watch shows like Jersey Shore? And
mindless entertainment.
That's what a lot of people have said. It's like
TV.
There's nothing wrong with people watching those TV shows.
Agreed.
It's people emulating these TV shows, or thinking that that's real life, or thinking that that's, you know, sort of how things were, or how things are, is completely incorrect.
Some people have the misguided belief. Some people have the belief that if they act like that they too can be successful, like these dumbasses on TV. Just think, though, back when Jackass was on TV, then everyone thought, oh, if I go out and do something stupid, I can become famous too. That's why they had to put all those disclaimers on there.
But I think the thing that pisses me off is how much money these people are making. You know what? Those of us who are working really, really hard out there, you know, we can barely scrape by, but somebody who goes and gets drunk on TV and they make $20,000 they're up to like $80,000 an episode for some bullshit like that. And I'm like, and we raise these people higher in society. That's a good plan, you know. That's the stuff that pisses me off.
It's fine, because I'd rather have my integrity, my dignity, and the things that I like, rather than sell myself to that sort of, have that sort of money that was ill-gotten. You know, I don't know. As a person, and maybe just it's because I'm some sort of weird, blue-collar elitist or something like that. But like, it's not it's better. Those people can do whatever they want. People can like whatever they want. People can enjoy or emulate whatever they want. But it's not for me. And I'd rather have the things that I have and I've worked hard for in my life than just than just money or fame because I punched somebody on a boardwalk somewhere. It's just, I don't know. It's not. I agree with you. It's not sustainable, but people can do whatever they want. That's just how it works. So
basically,
move on.
That's true. Like I agree that people can do whatever they want. I just wish that it was more dignified.
Dignity doesn't sell on TV.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Dignity is highly overrated. Come on, guys. Seriously. We all went to college. We lost our dignity there.
But we're losing the shows like Community, like 30 Rock, like Parks and Rec, because we're selling more to these shows, like The Bachelor and Jersey Shore and
Betty White pranks young people.
I heard about that.
I kind of want to see that, to be honest.
Kind of.
it's
Betty White.
It's funny, and Betty White's a great lady. But NBC's like, oh, we can make money with this. We can make a lot of money with this because its ratings are higher than Community, Parks and Rec, The Office, and 30 Rock combined. No, all of their Thursday show nights just combined. It's just everyone watches Off Their Rockers. And it's just NBC's we're gonna make 4,000 more TV shows like this.
Well,
so,
the problem is they'll oversaturate the market like they always do when something gets popular, and then it'll go away. Like when you had the big game show craze with Weakest Link and Deal or No Deal, all those things, then you get all these clones that come out and it kills off everything.
Right. So.
That being said, the British version of Weakest Link is awesome. I used to watch that when I lived in Belgium. Before it was popular in America, and I was like, this is awesome. Then it came here, and we gradually killed it. But
Chris, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Okay, I'll sign off.
Click, and suddenly Chris is gone from the hangout.
For those of you on audio, the camera turned off.
Yeah. Now, did you guys actually see the episode of Doctor Who during the Eccleston run? Where there was the future version of Anne. Oh gosh, she was a robot, and that they would just get killed if they got cut off. So it was brilliant. No, very great.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic episode. I think you and I are the only ones who watched Doctor Who.
It's on my list.
Yeah, television. No, I don't know. I got out of television when I went into the Army, and never really got back into television. So. It's kind of just been my thing.
Fair enough.
Not to end this discussion early, but to move into something a little bit different for a bit, I figured we'd jump over into some gaming. I think earlier before the stream we had mentioned Minecraft, but Minecraft for the Xbox 360 has now sold more than 1 million copies. Now I'm not sure what's its selling price on the 360.
$20, and that article that said that was on the 14th also. So that's 5 days ago.
It's 1,600 points because I got it. Oh, I got it about a week ago.
Yeah,
and
which
it has consumed my life.
And I think 1,600 points translates to $20 if I remember right, but I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, so Microsoft points to use the metric system to calculate things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
So,
pretty much.
Do anyone know exactly the percentages of that goes to Microsoft and or that would go to Mojang? I was kind of wondering. It's I'm wondering if Notch just banked another $10 million. It's yeah, I'm good.
I just know that I was anti-Minecraft. Because my best friend almost missed her wedding because of Minecraft, because she was doing something in Minecraft and she almost missed her wedding. I couldn't believe it, and I'm like, okay, you know what? This is going to be a whole new World of Warcraft thing. I need to step away and just not play Minecraft. And then it came out for the 360, and what has happened? I spent my Friday night, which I still have things to write and stuff like that, especially with the debut of the web series, and I spent 6.5 hours on Minecraft mining. Just mining. just going down a hole.
It's fun.
What the fuck?
It's fun. I love it's really mining. The act of the mining I find to be really relaxing. So if like I'm like frustrated or something, I'll go dig a hole in Minecraft. I'm like, yep, digging a hole.
One of my friends was describing Minecraft to me, and I'd never heard of it before. And I was like, so what's the purpose of the game? I was like, well, you start out with a pickaxe, and then you have to build a shelter, otherwise a zombie will eat you. And I was like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. And then he's like, and most of your time is just spent like, rearranging blocks and sort of menial labor and stuff like that. You can build some really cool stuff, but it takes a long time. And I was like, I grew up on a 900-acre farm. No, thank you. So, but no, it's amazing now because don't they have like they've created like the Starship Enterprise and like a whole bunch of like AT-ATs and
it's
stuff.
It's been built. Like I think the biggest community project that's been built is a group recreated the entirety of Final Fantasy VII.
Wow.
Like,
did you see the guy that built the working calculator though?
There's actually some like a working 128-bit computer.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How does that work?
Well, in the game, there's something called redstone, which in its very basics is electrical wire. So,
okay.
On a really ridiculously large scales, you build basically bits. Using, a bit is basically, is this on or is this off? So, they build this huge, huge thing, and I'll see if I can pull up a picture of one and find one and throw in the chat there for you. But they're absolutely huge, and using the basics of what a computer is, people build them out of redstone and dirt usually, and they are absolutely huge. And it's like this is like 10 million blocks. What's it do? It adds numbers.
That's so cool, though. That's brilliant.
It is. That's part of what makes Minecraft so amazing, is if you can think it and you're smart enough, you can do it.
Sort of a digital Lego situation, but
it's what it is.
Much more complex.
And
it's digital Legos.
And we're getting Minecraft Lego.
I saw that.
They're making that.
Really?
It's like, yo, I heard you like Legos, so we're making Legos for your Legos.
You can Lego while you Lego.
Because basically...
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was the first successful Lego Kuso project where, community designed Legos, and Minecraft was the first one that succeeded, and then another one succeeded after that. I'm not sure exactly when they're coming out, but I already pre-ordered my Minecraft Legos.
I can't because I only play on 360 because we've already talked about my PC capabilities here.
Or lack thereof.
I already know that if I just stay on the 360, I can kind of tear myself away to do other things. Kind of, maybe.
You lose out a lot on the 360 version because you don't have access to like mods and stuff. And there's a lot of amazing mods out there.
That's what I've heard. But
and you also don't know about servers for you guys either. There's a link there in chat to one of the computers that was built for you if you want to check that out.
What I've actually done is I have my own world that I've created on my 360 that I have friends who just come in and out, as I'm on, because as of right now I don't have anything, other than writing to do. Given my weird employment situation, so like I'll just leave it up. Even if I'm not there, I'll have my away button thing going, and people will just come in and out.
Yep.
And that's how I have it running on the 360.
You can get what 8 people, something like that in a world.
Yeah, you can get. I think you can get. Well, you can get 4 people on one screen as long as you have an HD TV.
Yeah.
I think you can get up to 8 people at a time in the world, but like I don't have that many friends on 360. You be my friend, people. I want friends.
I'm kind of wondering how the multiplayer max out, because like I run a 96 slot Minecraft server, so it's like how many people can I get on? Because I mean the most I ever get on is usually about 20 at a time, but still, it's So I was kind of trying to figure out the comparisons and the differences. I also know that you're running the Xbox version is actually like 2 or 3 builds behind the current Minecraft version.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. Like, I haven't gone into anybody else's worlds to see like what they've created or anything either. So I don't really know what else is going on other than the stuff that I'm doing, which is I'm still very, I've played 20 hours or 25 hours or something this week, and I still haven't considered myself very skilled in Minecraft. I'm still learning how it all works and like what goes with what to make it, this. And I have so much redstone that I know you can in the computer version you can turn that into a computer itself or into a working calculator.
You can do it in the PC version
I can't,
or in the Xbox version, because that's been done since like 1.3 beta, so it's been there for a long time.
Well,
I just don't know how to do it.
It seems like lots of people have been playing because Microsoft put some stats out that 5 days into the game, players have spent more than 5.2 million hours mining, with 4 million multiplayer sessions played and more than 2.4 million hours spent playing multiplayer. So people are liking it, which is good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it probably took Notch by surprise a little bit too, because I guess he sent out a press release saying that Microsoft just sent out a press release saying that Minecraft has sold 1 million copies in 5 days. Wow.
Notch is. I wish more people, especially more larger companies, would take after Notch. Like Notch from Mojang made $3 million last year in dividends. Instead of keeping that for himself and making his own wallet fatter, he gave it all back to the other employees, every dime of it.
That's cool.
So, I thought that was nice of him, But yeah, I mean,
you don't see a lot of people do that.
I tossed another video in chat. You can check it out either now or after. But it's something else that's popular in Minecraft that's really complicated, and it's using what's called music blocks or note blocks. And these note blocks are combined together based on the block that's on top underneath them. They change their sound. Plus, you can give them different notes by right-clicking them.
That's cool.
And people recreate different songs. The one I actually threw in the thing there for you is Billie Jean, done in Minecraft.
Awesome.
So
there was something along in that vein, and I'm talking because my computer keeps on asking me if I'm still here. Is that there's actually someone went through. You guys remember Mario Paint?
Yes.
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 And you could. There was actually a music creator program in Mario Paint. Well, there's this thing. It's a Rickroll, but it's called Paint Roll, and they created the Rick Astley "Never Gonna Give You Up" using Mario Paint.
I've seen that. It's awesome.
Rickroll people.
Yeah.
But no, that's so awesome. It's so like Minecraft is just so brilliant. Like, I don't know. I'm just now listening to you guys. I'm like, this sounds amazing. Like, this sounds like a great game. I wish I didn't have a whole bunch of other responsibilities because I would play Minecraft all the time.
That's the problem, is that I have other responsibilities and I just
We have
keep
a holiday
playing.
now? When's that, today? Friday? Next Friday?
Next
Friday.
Monday's a holiday.
Next Friday is Geek Pride Day. If anyone cares to know about that, the 25th is actually National Geek Pride Day, so be prepared for craziness at comic book stores, probably.
Well, so I got a nice segue. We've been talking about building blocks and made a connection to Legos. Did you guys see it? There's all but confirmed a Lego Lord of the Rings game.
Oh, awesome.
I am so excited. Like I saw that and I was just like, I will play the shit out of that. Like,
I'm not even a big Lord of the Rings fan, and I was like, okay, that's exciting.
I played the Lego Pirates. That was so much fun.
I just finished playing the Lego Harry Potter.
Oh man, those are all great games. I don't own any of those. All I have is the Star Wars the complete trilogy, or the complete both
Saga?
episodes, like 1 through 6, basically. And that's just a great game. So much fun.
It's I think I don't think people take the Lego games seriously when they hear about it, and I think that's really that's just sad because the Lego games are just fantastic.
They're a lot of fun, and you can play them at any age too.
Oh yeah,
Right.
totally. Well,
I wouldn't have any issues with my nephew playing with it.
And go ahead.
It's really cool that for a game like that covers some really in-depth stories, they're able to tell the entire story without ever speaking a single word.
Exactly. Like I think they're completely underrated, and they have the jokes and the gags that go with it too, and it's fantastic.
Oh, they're going to keep churning them out because they're making bank off of them, I bet. And the DC Superheroes one comes out soon. Lego Lord of the Rings is coming out. How awesome is that?
I can't. Well, it's amazing that the Lord of the Rings one is going to be fantastic, and I did not care for the first Batman that came out, like the Batman one. It was okay. It wasn't as good as the Star Wars one that had come out, but the number 2 looks awesome. It's going to have Green Lantern and Superman, and just I can't wait. So
hopefully it does better than DCUO. I mean.
Oh, DCUO was awful though.
I'm happy to report I still have not installed that on my PlayStation yet.
I played it on another friend's computer because I was just curious. I wanted to know what it was. Like they got me playing that in League of Legends, which that's another game that consumed my life from their computer while I was there.
League is good. I play that a little bit too much.
League was fun. But I played about an hour of DCUO and decided that killing myself would probably be more pleasurable than playing that game.
I actually bought that. Man.
I'm so sorry, dude. On behalf of DC fans everywhere, let me extend an olive branch and say that I'm truly sorry. And that no, I don't play MMOs. Like I'm strictly pen and paper, just because I don't know. I like that human interaction. What?
Pen and paper is easier to me.
Oh yeah, it's far easier, and also I'm not gifted with video games. Like it took me probably a year to finish Red Dead Redemption. Well, that's just because I was messing around. But like, the thing is, I don't play MMOs, and like even like the lure of like a DC MMO couldn't get me like on the PlayStation to play it. So it's just like no. I can't do it, so I'm so sorry though, because I watched other people play it and it was awful. And like the voice acting was like way different than like the animated series, or like they weren't even doing like impressions of them. They're like, "Hi guys, I'm Guy Gardner." Weird, like it was awful. Like it was not good.
Hey guys, I'm Batman. Let's go play a game.
The absolute worst was the booster gold boxes. Oh my god. Walk up and he starts telling you the history. I'm like, what?
Why stop talking?
Booster gold.
That sounds ridiculous. I don't know. As a booster gold fan, I don't think I would like that very much. So.
Yeah, they went free to play, and they've been hugely successful since then, which is good for them. But the game is shit. At least Marvel, when they realized that their MMO was going to be shit, they're like, you know what? We're pulling our name off this. Fuck you guys. And thus, Champions Online was born. So, I think DC could have done better if they would have went with someone who wasn't Sony. It's just the way it is.
I think Sony screwed that up. I think if there was at one point there was talk, and I don't know why I remember this, but there was talk that Blizzard was going to develop something with the DCUO.
Well, Blizzard's
and
always
I was
rumored
just like,
for
that would be
things.
fantastic.
Like Blizzard got rumored that they were doing a Halo MMO for a while.
That'd be awesome.
But I think if Blizzard would have done the DCUO, I think we would be having a completely different discussion right now.
Probably.
And how much we can't stop playing.
Right now, confirmed that Blizzard's working on, and this is confirmed, since you mentioned this and it's one of our segues here, so I figured I'd go right in. Confirmed that Blizzard is working on, is they're working on the first expansion to Diablo 3. They're working on Mist of Pandaria for World of Warcraft. They're working on Heart of the Swarm for StarCraft 2. A free-to-play game, which is just out of the. I don't understand. Blizzard can make crap and sell millions of copies, so I don't know why they're making a free-to-play game unless they really plan to abuse the hell out of microtransactions. And
That's exactly what I think it is.
It's going to be a Farmville Online, or some sort of Harvest Moon interactive MMO.
And the other one is Project Titan, which is the unnamed, supposedly FPS MMO. That's rumored that it's an FPS MMO, but Project Titan is really all we know.
It's the modern day StarCraft Ghost. They finally got it done.
That'll be the new free-to-play game, StarCraft Ghost, and you have to microtransaction the hell out of it to do anything.
Yeah.
It's Duke Nukem 4. They're moving past 3 and they're developing 4. It's going to be a
Gearbox did Duke Nukem Forever, which I didn't play. I didn't hear anything good about.
Well, wasn't that the game that was in development hell for like 15 years?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I played the demo.
I know
it felt like an old school Duke Nukem game.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, but if you've been waiting for 15 years and that's what you got.
Good.
Like, I waited 12 years for Diablo 3, and it's awesome.
It blows my mind that game came out in 2000.
I know, right?
I was still in high school.
There's not a date yet for Mr. Pandora or anything like that, guys. Expect anything I mentioned just now to be outside of Heart of the Swarm to be more than a year away, I would say. Heart of the Swarm, I think, is supposed to be this year.
Didn't World of Warcraft just have an expansion?
A while back, like almost 2 years ago.
Burning Crusade or whatever?
Cataclysm.
Oh.
Cataclysm was the last one.
Yeah.
That was I played up until Cataclysm came out, and I'm like, I'm not doing this anymore, guys. I'm done. Done.
I quit shortly after Cataclysm. So yeah. Minecraft actually helped me quit WoW. Yay.
Just trade one crack for another.
Yeah, except Minecraft is like completely worth it because you don't have. It's nice. You don't have to play with other people if you don't want to. Like with WoW, I felt like I always had to be on with somebody, otherwise it was just pointless. With Minecraft, you can just kind of. Yes, I keep saying Minecraft, and I'm doing it on purpose. You can just kind of play on your own, and if somebody comes into your world, that's cool. Otherwise, you're just going to keep building, and there's no real point to the game, and there's something soothing about that. There's something soothing about the fact that you can do whatever the fuck you want. Nobody cares.
Basically, except for creepers, they care.
Creepers care, but if I'm just building, I'll put it up in peaceful mode because I really don't want to deal with that while I'm trying to build something.
All they want is a hug. That's all they want.
They want a hug and to explode.
If you hug them, you fill them up with joy, and they can't contain it.
and they take out your house.
Yeah. So I mean, Blizzard's. I mean, they're busy. They're so busy. And I'm also along the same lines, I like that Activision has stated that they are pulling themselves away from Blizzard because they felt that they've done nothing constructive to the company and only have hurt it since they put their hands in it. So they're taking their hands back out and letting Blizzard run their own crap. So
if anyone from EA is listening, please do that with BioWare too. Please. Or I'll cut you. I'll give you $5.
I'll give you $5. Every BioWare fan will give you $5 to never bother BioWare again.
Start a Kickstarter.
Yeah. A Kickstarter to tell EA to leave BioWare the hell alone.
Good times.
Can we kickstart for $5?
Goal reached.
Yay! Successful.
Oh God.
A buddy of mine an online acquaintance of mine just got one of his projects funded like he was going for $2,000 and he ended up getting $4,000. That's so awesome. So awesome. It's AceKilroy.com. Just gonna pimp that out for him. But
I have issues with Kickstarter. I can't bring myself to back them because there's no guarantees.
That's what happens when you invest in someone, though. There is no guarantee
Well,
you'll get anything.
Yeah, it's like I'm going to give this dude, say, $1,000, and he's supposedly going to make this game, but then he decides not to. I mean, yes, it's a risk of investment, and you get nothing back no matter what. I mean,
Some things you do.
Well, that's not true. Yeah, certain people like the Kickstarter for the MC Chris cartoon that I funded was he would give you a call if you donated over like $50, or like, and then you just get like little stuff if you donated at certain levels, and then like through like the Ace Kilroy thing, like I donated at a very minimum level because just I don't have a lot of free access funds for quick Kickstarter all the time. Thank you, HeroClix. But anyways,
I used to play that.
But the thing is, like I'm getting like a free bookmark and a free coaster, and there's like sometimes they'll like write you in as like minor characters. So it's like there's like a lot of like really good things that you can do for Kickstarter. Lots of really good rewards if those things come to fruition. And so like and for me, like it's like, am I really gonna miss $10? Like I'll just not go to Starbucks or something, or go out to eat one night or something, and then you have something, you're part of something bigger. So I think Kickstarter's a great idea. And
some of the ones I've seen before is there's web series I like to watch called The Variants, and they put a Kickstarter up, and it was if you gave X amount, you got a copy of the season 1 DVD. If you gave this much, you get a copy of a signed script, things like that, and they had different levels. So in some cases, people were like, well, I can pay for a DVD. I help them to fund season 2. I mean, and part of it was even if you give like $100, you get put in the credits as the producer or something like that.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, and that's awesome.
There's a lot of.
The one that's been the most talked about lately is, have you guys heard of the Pebble watch?
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's this Bluetooth watch with an e-ink display that is supposed to work with your iPhone and your Android phones and things like that, so that all your messages and stuff you get come straight to your watch. It feels just like a Dick Tracy thing, and then people are setting it up so you can write apps for your watch, and it will last for about a week on a charged battery because it's the e-ink display, and it completely interfaces with your phone to do everything.
Oh God!
And what they were doing there is they said, you give us $80, you get one of the first ones that comes off the line. You give us like I'm not sure exactly the dollar amounts, but if you give us like $110, you can choose the color of the watch that you want.
Makes me think of calculator watches all over again.
It does, and
oh man, I miss calculator
watches.
watches.
They were only trying to get like $100,000, and right now, yeah, they were trying to get $100,000. So far, they've gotten $10,266,845.
Wow!
For the Pebble watch, it's ridiculous, and I think it's about to close out.
Yeah,
that's cool.
The most successful one I had seen prior to that was the Yogscast was doing one to make a game. If you're not familiar with the Yogscast, they're huge freaking YouTubers and whatnot, mostly on the Minecraft market. But they were making a game, and they ended up getting like $2 or $3 million. But they had a name behind them, so that's what they were using to sell that.
The guy who does the Leisure Suit Larry games, if you remember those from like the old computer days, he put up a Kickstarter to make a new Leisure Suit Larry.
And Carmageddon.
There's some really cool stuff that they're doing with Kickstarter. I mean, and granted, I think Kickstarter takes like a 5% cut or whatever of whatever's made, which is...
I think so.
But that's not awful. I mean, that's...
No.
They're offering a service. They have server costs.
And they're proving that this venue seems to work, or at least so far it has worked. The thing that people aren't realizing is, like what you'd said, Josh, is there's no guarantee you get anything.
Right.
You're giving your money for them to try and do something. It might not work. It could fail, and you're out your money, and people haven't realized that yet. So let's say, hypothetically, the Pebble watch never works, which I don't think is likely because they've already shown all the prototypes of it working. All these people are like, oh my God, I didn't get anything. I want my money back, without realizing that you're basically acting as an angel investor.
Yep.
Well, and that's what's keeping me from starting a Kickstarter for a project that I'm going to be working on, which is a sort of a Creative Commons superhero thing where, basically I've got about 400 different superheroes, supervillains, things like that, and basically it would just be like, it's this universe that you can build onto, add in whatever, use it for roleplay purposes, use it for whatever. And but like, the thing that really scares me is I'd love to do a Kickstarter for it so I can be compensated and have funds to print things off or to put things online, create a website. The only problem is do I have enough faith in myself to be able to not let those people down that invest in me? And that's a huge deal. Like, before you enter into any sort of thing, like, you know, I know how hectic my life is right now, how I'm gonna, you know, how you have to be on top of your stuff if you're gonna be a Kickstarter person and do something over Kickstarter. And so I think that is something, though, that I've always felt comfortable giving to Kickstarter, you know, enterprises, because if it's a really great idea, or most of the time it's people that I've heard of or know or public figures, and it's sort of it's like you know, I trust those people, so it's like, you know, like I know that I'm not going to get, you know, left by the wayside or whatever. But, you know, like, and I think also the sort of hype of, like, thinking about, like, well, can I actually do this will keep a lot of people away from Kickstarter that aren't going to be able to finish things. So, you know, being able to believe in yourself, I think, is a major part of Kickstarter. And so that's the reason I feel comfortable donating on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So
the other thing you're going to get, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, like, with Kickstarter, and if you're funding things like games and stuff like that, they'll send out update emails like, okay, thank you for helping us fund. Let me tell you what's going on right now. And they'll send out updating emails so that you know what's going on. And I don't have the funds to back anything that I really want to. Like, Sentinels of the Multiverse has a Kickstarter going. I believe it's going right now, or it just ended, for a new expansion pack for their tabletop game, which I'm in love with. I think it's one of the most fantastic games that's out there, and they'll continually send out updates, and I think that is part of what makes Kickstarter awesome, is that people will send out those updates because, you know, they invested their money into it. They want to know what's going on, and they'll send out these updates saying, you know, hey, this is where we're at in the development, and blah 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 blah. So I think that's something that, you know, if you are worried as an investor, you do actually get some sort of update going on.
Yeah, you also have to be aware that the internet is full of jerks and scam artists, and scam artists tend to be very good at what they do. And you have to realize that at any point, since people now have made over $1 million using this, that people are going to try to use it to scam people out of money. It's going to happen.
They've already shut down a couple. Like, Kickstarter has shut down a couple of different projects because of people turning out to be scam artists.
So that's crazy. Hey, would you guys excuse me for just 1 second? I'm just going to be offline for just a minute. So.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's all important. It's just important to be aware, I guess, of what you're doing before you do it, and make sure that you trust. And he has Batman cheats.
Batman Brave and the Bold, it looks like.
I
thought they were earlier. I just didn't say anything. Now I can tell for sure.
Yeah. On a side note, also awesomeness. On the 26th, Toonami makes a return. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't watch television.
I saw that, and
it was like, that's bitching.
Yep.
My best friend's birthday is May 26th, and he's like, it's the best birthday present I've ever received ever.
And for you people on
so excited for that
in the Chicago area and whatnot, anywhere not in West Virginia, and the East Coast, you guys can see a eclipse today. Is that today? Tomorrow.
It's on the West Coast.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
And it is today. We might be able to see it in the Midwest, but it's mainly for the people on the West Coast.
Yeah, we can't see it at all.
But you could probably just go on Twitter and someone will have some pictures up there from the West Coast.
Yeah, I don't know what time it's at exactly. I
thought it was at noon West Coast time, roughly.
Okay, so it's going to be 2 o'clock my time. I'll be outside then, so I can check and see. But I'm getting the idea that the Midwest is not going to be able to see the eclipse. I think it'll be strictly on the West Coast.
Oh, and yeah, MMO-wise, I also listened to her on that line. A lot of information. I haven't had a chance to read all of it. Maybe one of you have. It's not in the show notes. I meant to put it in there, and I'm sorry about that. But a lot of information has came out about the Elder Scrolls MMO over the past, weeks since
It's been, what, 2 weeks since it was announced? 1 week?
and
Something
they've
like
just
that.
been dumping information all over the web randomly.
Good. What kind of stuff?
The most recent one's talking about not punishing the player. It will be playable solo as well, apparently. Which it's like, okay, then no one's going to use the MMO portion.
Yeah, but they still get their monthly fee then.
Yeah, probably.
You can keep paying us $5 a month to play a solo game. That's a great idea.
But it's like I haven't had time to read it because Diablo. But it's like my soul is Diablo. But oh yeah, we're about at time anyway. It's just
you all in your Diablo.
Diablo.
Middle finger dance. I'm middle finger dancing for
I know
all of you.
a lot of you were probably angry at this, but I was really happy that they didn't delay my game for your damn consoles.
I didn't expect them to.
I didn't expect them to.
Blizzard does not make console games.
Yeah, they tried. It's called StarCraft Ghost. It still doesn't count. We'll not talk about StarCraft 64.
Oh no. I don't think that I would like to play a Diablo game that was on PlayStation 3. I don't think that I could. I don't think that I'd... Is it point and click?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. It's
Well,
just like Diablo 2. It's like literally the same thing, except...
Yeah, I don't see how that would work on a PS3. That would be awful.
I can't say it's exactly the same, because you have a left-click ability, a right-click ability, and then you have a 1, 2, 3, and 4 ability. So they actually give you a little more versatility. Apparently Diablo 1 was on a console.
Was it? Huh. How many mice have you gone through so far?
None. I still on the first one so far. I'm only halfway through Nightmare difficulty. I got a lot of
I gotta figure your left click button's gotta be on its last legs by now.
Probably. So I still have to do Hell and Inferno, so Diablo. Such a good game.
Oh, Diablo. I really I'm super excited for whenever I get a new laptop, just because I really, as bad as I am at PC gaming, because I don't know what it is about PC gaming, but my hands are just like, no, don't do this to me. And as bad as I am at it, to me, it's actually like, it's more relaxing, because like when I play 360, because I'm a Gears of War freak, and I get really tense, and I'm just like because the controller's so small, and I feel like I'm becoming a T-Rex with my hands. Like, I think that's exactly how it's gonna. That's exactly how I'm gonna die, is like with a T-Rex hand going on, because I played too much 360. And like when it comes to PC gaming, I'm much more relaxed because I'm open. Like, because my arms, like, you got one arm on the keyboard and you got one arm in the mouse, and you can move the mouse around, and I don't know, I feel like there's actually more relaxation technique to PC gaming than there is to... Am I weird? I think I might just be weird.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah. I gave up on consoles a long time ago, so... And everything I hear about the next gen of consoles makes it like, yep, I'm glad I'm out of that crap. Because there's like hardly any good information, except for...
you don't want a Wii U?
A Wii U with cloud storage, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
it's not that bad, actually, but...
It's the same thing Microsoft and Sony already offer, though.
Yeah.
It's nothing new.
But
Microsoft's had cloud storage for almost a year now.
The things that's getting me about the next gens, and well, Wii U, the fact that it's basically a useless console. It's like, here, have a Wii with a new controller.
And an HD.
Oh, and yeah. The Wii should have been HD in the first place. The whole removal of backwards compatibility I don't like. Even though originally there was no backwards compatibility, I understand that, but it became a normal, and it became accepted, and then they're like, no, we're not going to do that anymore, because instead we want to sell you these games in our online marketplace and make more money off of you for nothing. And also their attack of the used game market is another thing that I'm not a fan of. I understand that they don't make money off used games, but not everyone is freaking loaded and can pay $60 for a game all the damn time. So
I think that I understand the attack on the used market, but I myself am guilty of not only buying but mainly buying used games, because honestly, $60 to invest into a game that you aren't sure if you're going to like or not is really difficult. And to like, there are some games where you know it's going to be good. Like Borderlands 2, I have no problem spending $60 on that game. Or I'm actually getting the special.
Any of the Arkham games just sold. Just
yeah, like
I only buy one video game a year, and because I'm not a huge gamer, I don't game often, and when I do, it's just to relax. And you know, it's you know, when I just have time to myself, I might throw in a game and play for a little while. But like, you know, like I don't mind spending that money. Actually, it's nice now though that Redbox has started to carry the video games, so I can like go like the next game I'm gonna buy is probably gonna be Dead Island because I played it and I loved it and I just thought it was great. So like, I don't know, I think that the sort of gaming market is getting sort of broken that way, where it's like you really, because I can't drop $60 on a video game. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's just it's unless it's something I know I'm gonna like Arkham City, Asylum, World, whatever. You know, there's no guarantees. So I like to play video games before I spend money.
Yeah, and that's another thing is like the Redbox and GameFly won't be able to operate really anymore with this new setup unless they can find a way to set up something with Microsoft and Sony.
But none of the big businesses want them to exist anymore.
I know.
They've done everything they can to try and shut down the red boxes.
I mean, back in PS2 days, when I was playing PS2 and Xbox and whatnot, I freaking loved GameFly, man. That was awesome. It's like, yeah, whatever, like $15 a month, and I beat a game, send it to you, and you send me another one. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I played Kingdom Hearts.
I don't operate with GameFly because that one does kind of bother me. But like, I think what the mistake was made was that with the used games, they don't get any kickback to the actual designers, which I do feel is wrong. I feel like everybody should get paid for their work, because a lot of work goes into these things. So I completely understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, I really wish that they would understand at the same time that because we don't automatically know that we're going to enjoy the game or that that we feel it's going to be worth the $60. You know, $60 is a lot of money, like especially to those of us like me who work in the art world. So you know, we don't make a lot of money as it is until we get famous or die, and you know, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of that is a week's worth of food for me. $60 is a week's worth of food. So I have to choose: am I going to eat this week, or am I going to play a video game? So, you know, I think there needs to be more sympathy for those of us out there who really want to play video games with you guys, but we can't afford the super things, you know.
Well, I think another issue with the whole used game market is, like you said, the developers need to get their money. It's not the developers so much that's trying to stop it. It's Microsoft and Sony. They want their damn money. They could give two fucks less about the developers. So. Which,
if it's Microsoft or Sony, they can eat a dick. You know, whatever. They make so much money off of us as it is.
Well, the thing I hate about Microsoft personally is I'm a PC gamer. I don't touch any consoles, like I mentioned. And Microsoft is trying to fight the PC gaming market. They don't want it to exist because if people are buying games on the PC, they're not buying them for the Xbox, and Microsoft isn't making money off PC gamers. So Microsoft actually is fighting the PC gaming market as best it can.
And that sucks, because that's a whole market that they could probably get in on, that they're just going to fight it instead.
They have Microsoft Live Arcade thing for the PC, but it's a pile of shit, and they know it, because they don't care to support it because they don't make enough money off of it.
Right.
It's all about the dollar bills these days.
Dollar bills, y'all. I'm sorry I did that.
I talk good. We are at time though, I do believe. So I want to thank you all for showing up this week and chatting. I guess is the best we could say it. For closing statements, I guess we'll start with Andy or Andrew, whatever you prefer to go by.
Whichever. So thank you so much, guys, for having me and finally letting me be on the program. I'm sorry. I was supposed to be on the first one and just keeps on getting you know, so, and my work schedule has changed, so actually it was a sort of a weird fluke that I had this Sunday morning off. So anyways, thank you guys so much for having me. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's AKAPELLUSCH. That's my last name. Also, Facebook.com/Kapellart, KAPELLART. So thank you guys so much for having me, and look me up online, and I'll get you guys some free comic book drawings. So,
Yay, comic book drawing.
Woohoo! Thanks for being here. Naki.
I'm back, and I will be for a while, as far as I know, because like things have been changing, and I apologize for my mini hiatus there. But I'm coming back, and check out the web series at Kryptonian Spade. You can also follow me and Carly. Carly Spade, she's on Twitter as well at Carly Spade, no spaces or anything like that. You can follow me on Twitter. I'll be updating about it as well at the number Nerdy Cupcake. You know, hopefully you guys like the series, and check out my book Alternates.
Awesome. Okay, the bald one. Anything?
If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I'm on there as at Roundtable Nerds. Also, there's my website, nerdstheroundtable.com, where I rant and rave about nerdy things, and I also have a video game column on 401mania.com/games. So